I've always been interested to wonder about abstract and conceptual ideas, those what we refer to as metaphysical or ultimate questions. Who are we? What defines our personal identity? What makes one the same person over time? And what are we looking for in life on this planet as human beings? The first subjects, personal identity, deal with what defines us and what makes us unique. There are several traditional ways to define it in philosophy, body theory, brain theory, and memory theory. First, body theory states that our personal identity is tied to our physical body. In other words, you become a different person if your body changes. This theory is intuitive but has some limitation. What if changes happen to the body? Our human body is a constant flux that is always changing. We grow new hairs and wrinkles. Our bodies replace almost 30 trillion human cells regularly. As our body changes over time, we still feel like the same person, even if we lose a limb or gain some weight. Although we look so different now from when we were in kindergarten, friends from adulthood can still spot our tiny chubby faces among all others in a school photo. The second one is brain theory. This theory argues that our brain makes us who we are. Our thoughts, memories, and personality traits are all result of the activity in our brains. Yet, this theory also has its own limits, as our brain changes over time and can be affected by injury or disease. Finally, there is memory theory. This theory suggests that our memories are what make us who we are. Memories are what give us a sense of continuity and allow us to create a narrative of our life. According to this theory, if we were to lose all our memories, we would cease to be the same person. However, this theory is also limited, as memories can be fallible and subjective. So, which theory is more reasonable? Well, it's hard to say. But interestingly, in the above arguments, a common thread exists in each theory. When we define ourselves, there's always an other's gaze. In a way, the existence of this other as an object thus confirms our existence via their gaze. Humans are social animals. We long to be seen, understood, and loved by others, and to be part of a community. It is only at those occasional moments in our life when the other and I make connections of one kind or another that we can finally pause and escape from this endless search for meaning. And this connection leads us directly to the second question. The answer that we humans have been trying to find for hundreds and hundreds of years, what we have been seeking for. Is it possible that this sense of connection is what we have been seeking for all eternity? Turning back the clock a few thousand years, let's go back to the cave of primitive people, where we find them living and recording, painting and creating. Why did people create those drawings, and what were they creating? When defining them on second thoughts, isn't it a sense of connection that they have been creating all along? A sense of connection gave us a sense of belonging, a sense of security, and a host of all other emotional values. These vast and inexpressible emotions are important to us. They make us wonder and reflect. We are touched by them and therefore want to express them, to pass on this emotional experience that is within us to those others. So people invent languages, which have become a kind of deed, tacit agreements. You and I both agree on a sign. And then from now on, when I make such a sign, you can understand that what is going on in my head. People also invent money, a tool that connects people, allowing us to help and improve each other's life. Tens of thousands of years ago, people exchanged shells and used rope to keep calm. And through the trading of coins and goods, more complex and diverse connections between people were made. How can we be satisfied with only connecting and socializing in our own villages? As human beings, our curiosity drives us to explore what lies beyond this mountain and sea, and beyond the other sides of the earth. We ask ourselves, can the people who live over there connect with me? Thus, people then go to further places to connect. Later, we had the telephone, more efficient transportation, and the internet, and we shop online, keep up with the news in real time. Even in people's eyes decades ago, it was as if we were living in a so-called world of magic. And in this world of magic, an intriguing thing happened. Remember the theory of how we define ourselves? As we spend more time surfing the web, in the era we call Web 2, we open up a new perception of identity, a digital virtual identity. Now, we try to create an online persona for ourselves, curating a version of our life, and those exquisitely retouched photos and images are the first step to our virtual identity. We're so hooked on social media and maintaining our image online because the virtual identity we present on web satisfies the underlying human needs I mentioned earlier, which is the other skates. Here, our digital imagery has become an extension of our physical existence. As posts that we made on social media was liked and commented by other people, we're being seen in these moments and connected to others in this digital form. We have even quantified this unspoken connection by counting the number of likes and comments we get. However, our digital identity has become more than an online presentation of our actual physical existence. We also invest time, energy, and money in other virtual avatars. Take a game character, for example. We will spend thousands of dollars designing a character's appearance, costume, and to make it look the coolest and the most dazzling among a bunch of other characters. We let it be a substitute for us to fight and combat with our teammates in this game. What we invested in this is indeed authentic, and the sense of connection it creates is all genuine as well. In a way, these digital avatars that look completely different than us and do not have our memory become an extension of us at some point by replacing our actual bodies to act and behave during online interaction. But all of this still didn't represent our identity in the real sense yet, but just the first step. Our digital identity online are still scattered. They only exist independently on particular platforms and cannot communicate, and we can't really own them. Since our social identity has been tied to online behavior on many levels, it also fosters so many crimes, such as online fraud, identity thefts, etc. At the same time, nearly all our current transactions and interactions online are fully dependent on various third-party platforms. Everything is very centralized and controlled by them. The power between the user and the platform are very unequal. In such a situation, the platform has all the power to subjectively choose whether to sanction, blacklist, or block the user. Individual users actually have no way to fight or defend their rights, making the existence of the so-called our digital identity more unstable. This system has been so solid and stable for so many years that we seem to have drifted away from the original intention of trust-based, mutual beneficial partnership between us while maintaining our autonomy. We have just been talking about Web 2, and you're right, it was unavoidable that I would like to be talking about Web 3 next. New technology, new concepts have appeared in front of us in a big way. Everyone is scrambled to discuss how we are moving from the Web 2 era to the Web 3 era. So what does Web 3 really mean? And at what level does this expand the integrity of our digital identity? And how does it affect the way we interact and connect? Web 3 is, in fact, a shift in the underlying interaction structure among people. First, blockchain technology is built on a consensus basis. Due to its consensus mechanism, the whole system can remove long-standing third parties. Hence, we call it a decentralized distributed networks. Therefore, it is also expected to solve the persistent problem of power misalignments of centralized third-party platforms. Second, blockchain has the property that data cannot be changed once it's documented. This means that it's traceable. We can actually go back to a specific time in the past to check the validation of a result. Also, blockchain with its special security features, fault tolerance mechanism, including the on-chain scaling solutions that are growing right now, allows safer, more efficient, and easier peer-to-peer, bundle, and multi-party transactions. And a decentralized ID on this basis will have the potential to solve the counterfeiting, fraud, and trust issues involved nowadays. The anonymity of blockchain records further protects the privacy of users. By leaving aside the control of intermediate parties, individual users here have full ownership of their data and can choose whether to disclose it and to what extent. And what does that mean for creators? There has long been a poverty imbalance caused by third parties in the creator economy of the art market as well. As a consequence of Web3, art and content creators can create, maintain, and develop their own personal IPs and no longer be constrained. This may sound like a lot of work for creators, and we're not saying that all the helps here are always broad, but that is very much less of a hassle when it's already into smart contracts. When a job, sale, or collaborations ends, the percentage of the share agreed in advance is paid to each partner's account automatically in the split seconds when the transaction is made. And it is also because of the fundamental structure changes that have taken place that art and culture have been able to further develop in a more vibrantly diverse and personalized way that people are creating in nowadays. For instance, many contemporary expressions that integrate technology have dramatically broadened the scope of the art genre and the ways in which we as viewers can appreciate and interact with art. Rafik and others' work, for example, use machine learning to study from the entire MoMA collection. The art piece itself is a dynamic digital representation of all the visual elements of the MoMA collection. In addition, for the first time, many generative art projects have allowed the viewers to move beyond the role of merely spectator and to participate in the production of the artwork. In other words, while previously we, as viewers of art, could only see the outcome, now we can be part of the process of creation. And as we just discussed, these interpersonal acts of appreciation, encouragement, buying, collecting, partnership, and our social footprints are all permanently recorded on-chain. One day, our online and offline behaviors will be linked and integrated together, uniting our digital identity with the physical presence, forming a unique and more comprehensive self-identity in this era. Then we can imagine that when our body dies, our brain ceases to be active and our memory has dissolved, all those precious and unique moments and trace of existence between people will remain there perfectly intact and will never be erased on the chain. More importantly, this presence and records does not belong to some third-party institutions, but belongs to the so-called collective of us. With consensus, we finally have this moment in our possession. As we said, tools are for people. How we use it is the critical. We are easily dazzled by the visual, splendid products and obscure technical terms, and intimidated by the explosive news and huge market volatility. But when we pause, set aside the bubble and noise, try to look at the core of this technology and think about what it can bring us, our resistance will seem to unfounded. Now, there are tens of thousands of intelligent minds in various emerging fields, refining these new technologies to serve us more safely, effectively, and efficiently. And all we have to do is keep an open mind to learn. Perhaps a warmer and friendlier way of interacting with people will come from the so-called code technology. May we be seen, to love and be loved, to support, to be understood, and be part of a community, just as we are long for all these years. Thank you.